Welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, I'm a real substance over style kind of guy, and it frustrates me that so many people fall for all the fluff, you know, the image, rather than focusing on the content. And one person whose entire political career is all style and no substance is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She markets herself as a freedom fighter, as somebody headed to Washington to get stuff done for people. Well, it seems as though most of her supporters are completely unaware that she is literally the least effective member of Congress. She has never had a single piece of legislation even make it to the floor. And don't take it from me, I mean, the mainstream media basically admits it. Here's a piece from the New York Post. Study declares AOC one of the least effective members of Congress. She gets all this attention, she's this fighter for the little guy, but she's all style and literally no substance. But it's not just her as a political entity, I mean, her track record as a politician, it's also the things that she says, you know, her monologues. She waves her hands in the air, flailing all around. She's real emotional. She seems to channel Martin Luther King Jr. Every time she makes a monologue, it's like she's trying to craft this historical figure aura around herself. But again, it's all style and no substance. Last week on the House floor, she was going on and on about Ilhan Omar and making these comparisons to stuff that Marjorie Taylor Greene and Paul Gosar have done in the past. But every single thing that she said was a flat-out lie or a misrepresentation of facts. All style, no substance. There's never any substance to what she says, and yet again, AOC being AOC. Another terribly embarrassing moment during a congressional hearing, a moment that makes me think to myself, is she even listening to herself? Anybody with their head screwed on straight wouldn't be able to be this much of a fraud. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so Exhibit A, AOC's first embarrassing moment of the hearing.
A whole hearing about a 24-hour hiccup in a right-wing political operation. That is why we are here right now. And it's just an abuse of public resources, an abuse of public time. We could be talking about healthcare. We could be talking about bringing down the cost of prescription drugs. We could be talking about abortion rights, civil rights, voting rights. But instead, we're talking about Hunter Biden's half-fake laptop story. I mean, this is an embarrassment. But I'll go into it.
The typical smug self-righteousness, the condescending attitude of I'm so much better than everybody here, my priorities are straight and everybody else is just a corrupt politician. We could be talking about prescription drugs, abortion, civil rights, voting rights, but instead, we're talking about Hunter Biden's half-fake laptop story. Now, firstly, Hunter Biden's half-fake laptop story? Half-fake. Where do you get off saying something like this? But despite the straight-up fake news, the peddling of misinformation, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez trying to paint this image of herself as really being of substance, of moral substance, has a couple issues of glaring hypocrisy here, I think, to contend with. Firstly, the idea that the Hunter Biden laptop story is just a distraction is kind of funny considering how serious this story really is. It's not just a distraction of Joe Biden's crackhead son. It tells a story of government corruption, federal agencies intervening in social media affairs, censoring pertinent information from the American public ahead of an election season. The idea that that's just small potatoes and a distraction from important issues like abortion and civil rights and voting rights, which are mostly non-issues anyway, is something that I take issue with. Once again, it's all style and no substance. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is snapping her fingers and looking all sassy and serious. She's really serious about real substantive issues that affect the American people. Well, what about free speech? What about the First Amendment? What about corruption scandals involving the federal government and top Washington politicians and their family selling access and influence to foreign adversaries? Just small potatoes, according to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's not interested in that. Very simply, she's a partisan drama queen, a theater actor, all style and absolutely no substance. And that applies to this next issue as well. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez sets her sight on a real important issue: libs of TikTok.
So much for bias against right wing on Twitter. Additionally, Ms. Navaroli, are you familiar with the account Libs of TikTok?
I have heard of it from the news, yes.
Mr. Roth, are you familiar with this account?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Are you aware that from August 11th to August 16th, that account posted false information about Boston Children's Hospital, claiming that they were providing hysterectomies to children?
Yes, I am aware of that and other claims from the account.
And are you aware that this lie was then circulated by other prominent far-right influencers?
Yes.
And are you aware that all these claims, which I have reiterated were false, culminated in a real-life harassment and ultimately a bomb threat to the Boston Children's Hospital?
Yes, I am aware.
And this account is still on that platform today, isn't it?
Regrettably, yes, it is.
Despite inspiring a bomb threat due to the right-wing incitement of violence against trans Americans in this country, because they cannot let go of this obsession with fixating violence and inciting violence against trans and LGBT people, in addition to immigrants, in addition to women of color. This is a party that cannot pick on anyone their own size. And they are trying to co-opt an entire social media platform and use the power of this committee and of Congress in order to pursue a political agenda. I yield back.
Now, firstly, the hypocrisy here. We shouldn't be focused on distractions like Hunter Biden's half-fake laptop story when we have really important issues to be talking about. And I guess real pertinent, important issues to the American public, for this hearing specifically, is the Libs of TikTok Twitter account. Alright, so she's completely lost me at this point. But again, there's a glaring issue here. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wants to put all the focus on Libs of TikTok, and she's trying to paint this picture as if Libs of TikTok incited violence against a children's hospital, which is completely flat out absurd on its face. But that's what she's focused on. For her, the issue is the Libs of TikTok account. But I think there's a much more important issue here. The issue of marketing and targeting hysterectomies and other totally insane gender reassignment surgeries towards minors. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez once again tells us that it's a total conspiracy theory. It never happened. But I have this screenshot documentation from the Boston Children's Center for Gender Surgery, where it says specifically the Center for Gender Surgery at Boston Children's Hospital provides gender-affirming surgery services to eligible adolescents and young adults, usually after they have completed other steps in gender-affirming process, such as taking supplemental hormones. To be eligible for these procedures, you must meet certain criteria. And here's the criteria from a video that they released themselves on their social media, which has since been deleted, but take a look.
The eligibility for getting gender-affirming surgeries at Boston Children's Hospital is basically the same as it would be for most other hospitals or surgeons in the United States. And that's the case because we all follow the World Professional Association for Transgender Health, or WPATH standards of care. For top surgery, you are requested, but not required, to have been on gender-affirming hormones for at least a year. If you're a trans woman, it's really encouraged that you be on estrogen for at least a year because you want to maximize your natural breast growth. Many surgical centers require you to be 18. At Boston Children's Hospital, for top surgeries, we'll see people as young as age 15 if they've been affirmed in their gender for a long period of time and don't really have any other life complications that make surgery inappropriate.
And so I'm not sure it's a conspiracy theory, a right-wing bigoted conspiracy theory that has been debunked, but AOC wants all of the focus on Libs of TikTok, the Libs of TikTok account that she and Yoel Roth think should be deleted from the internet. But that's all culture war nonsense. It's all distraction. It's not the real substance. It's again the style. It's the performative political theater meant to target people's emotion. The actual substance, the conversation that we probably should be having, is whether the Boston's Children's Hospital was actually conducting these surgeries and procedures. The ethical questions and a basic discussion around whether this is right or wrong, whether it's okay, whether it's ethical. Maybe Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez should be focused on actually refuting and debunking the claims targeting of the Boston Children's Hospital, rather than just saying, oh, it's been debunked, and fear-mongering about the never-ending stochastic terrorism threat that the left faces from the right, which definitely doesn't swing both ways, by the way. I mean, it's complete nonsense. But when leftoids don't have an argument, they always resort to the same thing. Oh, well, I'm receiving threats. Conversation over, I'm the victim. Period. Thank you, bye-bye. Again, all emotional manipulation tactics, no actual substance. I don't know what else to say, honestly. AOC is just an interesting character. Sometimes I feel almost like she's a an industry plant, you know, like the political version of an industry plant, and I think there's evidence to suggest that that's exactly what she is. Everything with her seems performative. It seems like she's trying to play a character. There's no substance ever, like whatsoever, to what she's saying. She peddles nonstop garbage misinformation endlessly, and today, at least for those who have working brains and understand the basic context of what she's talking about, I think today was a pretty embarrassing moment for AOC on the House floor. And the smug arrogance of the first clip, oh, I'm so much better than everyone, I want to focus on real substantive stuff. I just find it so funny because I think she's probably the least substantive politician in American politics. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.